everyone. I'm Ashley Banfield. Welcome. This is Crime and Justice, and we begin with breaking news tonight. A jury in Tennessee has just decided the fate of an All-American football player, that teenager, on trial for murdering his cheerleader ex-girlfriend, shooting her through her bedroom walls as she slept. While we do, I want to get right to that breaking news. That former college football star just declared guilty moments ago of murdering his cheerleader ex-girlfriend. Prosecutors saying he was sneaking up to that house in the middle of the night, shooting her dead through her bedroom walls, once from the side of her bed, the other time from behind her headboard. They say he then drove back to campus, lied to his roommate about where he'd been, had a nap, and then asked his buddies to help him get rid of the gun. With me tonight, one thing that's really weird, and Brian Claypool, can you hear me? Are you with me? Yeah, so I want to ask you something. I'm going to read off this list and put up a graphic so our audience can see right away, almost in real time. This has all just happened. What the guilty verdicts were and what the not guilty verdicts were, because something is surprising in this list. First degree, guilty. Especially aggravated stalking, not guilty. Stalking, guilty. Count 3, theft, guilty. Count 4, tampering with evidence, guilty. Count 5, reckless endangerment, guilty. Look at this, Brian, count 6. Employing a firearm during a dangerous felony, not guilty. I'm going to continue with the list and ask you about that one. The lesser included was a possession of a firearm during a dangerous felony, which they did render guilty. And then for count 7, felony murder. That involved the death of a person during the commission of child abuse, which is odd, but they decided guilty on that one too. Go back to count 6 with me. They decided not guilty employing a firearm during the dangerous felony, and decided instead of the lesser, possession of a firearm during a dangerous felony. Is this inconsistent? I don't understand it.
You're raising a great point, and as heinous as this crime is, and as much as this young man is going to spend most of the rest of his life in jail, his lawyers now might actually have an issue on appeal, because that count 6 verdict is arguably inconsistent, because clearly he employed a firearm, A, and B, this is clearly and categorically a dangerous felony. So if I'm his appellate lawyers, I'm chomping at the bits on that issue.
Okay, I thought that was really strange. I highlighted it. I thought maybe I have a misprint. Maybe Brian Claypool will be able to explain this one away from me. But I smell very strange, happenings in that jury room. And listen, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if that lawyer is worth his weight, he will scrape at everything for some kind of a process issue for an appeal. And maybe that's just the process issue that he wants on this one, although, you know what, who knows? How much worse could it get? I guess it could get life, no parole, if that was on the table. There is one thing to the three of you I want to talk about after the break, and it's this. This came up today. I didn't know about this until today, and it seems like every day there's another aspect of this trial that boomerangs me somewhere else, and it was Call of Duty. Call of Duty. Do we have that video of Call of Duty? If we do have it, I know we were trying to scrape it up real quickly. Call of Duty is the scourge of so many parents across the country, and it is the favorite thing to do for so many kids and parents across the country. Call of Duty made its way into this trial because it's so realistic. And Riley Gaul played Call of Duty. And if you know a thing or two about Call of Duty, it teaches you a lot about guns because it's really realistic. And guess what you can do with Call of Duty? You can shoot through walls. It's a strategy. So now do we believe that Riley Gaul didn't think those bullets would go through the wall? That's next. Back with me, my panel, Jesse Weber and Rachel Stockman from Law and Crime Network, and also Brian Claypool, a defense attorney who's seen this happen a thing or two a few times in your career, where no matter how hard you try, Brian, no matter what defense you put forth, sometimes you can just feel it in your bones when you look at that jury, when you look at their faces, when you see them roll their eyes, when you see them drop their heads, when you see them look away and not meet your eyes. How many times have you watched that jury walk away and render a verdict that you knew was coming because of how they would or wouldn't look at you?
Well, Ashley, it just happened to me, 6 months ago in the Dalia Dippolito case, in the middle of the trial, or toward the end of the trial, where a piece of evidence came in. It was prior bad act evidence, an allegation of Dalia trying to poison her ex-husband in his chai tea latte. And I got to tell you, almost every juror looked down. And Dalia and I had, we had a conversation after that, and we felt like it was probably over there. That issue is up on appeal, by the way. But if I could make a comment about this case real quick. Every good defense lawyer has to assess the playing field and call an audible if need be. And in this case, I think this young man's lawyers failed to call proper audibles on two counts, Ashley.
Where? Where?
Well, number one, they should have been trying to cop out a plea in this case. I mean, these facts were not in their favor, and they should have. I'd like to find out post-trial whether they tried to negotiate a plea deal for this young man.
You know what, Brian? I would not be surprised if they didn't offer one. They had so many facts in their corner, the kinds that we call bad facts. They may not have wanted to offer one.
Well, then let's go to my second point then, because you might be right. My second point is this, and you made a great point in the first segment, which is we as criminal defense lawyers, we've got to dig down as deep as we can to come up with the best arguments for our clients. And what his lawyers should have been arguing are things like he had diminished capacity. This guy's 19. He plays football. Maybe he wasn't mature enough. He should have had a mental health exam. Maybe getting hit in the head for the last 7 years playing football had something to do with this. Maybe it was heat of passion because he lost the love of his life and he couldn't live any longer. His lawyers should have been making those arguments instead of this was reckless homicide, because that's a contradiction. In opening statement, his lawyer said, hey, wait, you're going to hear facts. My client shot this young lady. He did really bad things, but it was an error. It was negligent. That is a contradiction.
He tried, but you know what? Some of these bad facts kept creeping in and knocking that down.